Hi guys, welcome to another music therapy podcast. Hope you all are having a wonderful day. Hold on, let me go ahead and turn off the music for us here. So today is finally episode 10 where we actually get to go through and put together the song list for you guys. Oh my gosh, it's been a hot minute since we said we were gonna do that. And now we're here, so we actually get to do that. And today we're going to be looking at a really cool song to kind of like cap off our 10th episode here. And we were thinking about it, and we thought it would be kind of fun to do an older song as kind of like our 10th song for this.
Something iconic.
Yeah, something iconic, exactly. And so we got a really cool song picked for you guys today. But before we jump into that, let me go ahead and introduce us, because I like doing that every time we stream. My name is Holly Dayle, and this is my father, and his name is Toby Holly.
That's me.
Yep, and he is a licensed mental health counselor. I said that right?
You got it.
Okay, good. He is a licensed mental health counselor, and he's going through with me, and we're going to be looking at some different songs. This song in particular today we're going to look at and kind of go through and analyze how you could use this song in your own personal time to go through and kind of assess some things that are going on internally for you. That's our hope and our goal. And at the end, we'll do a little recap of what we discussed, our little deep dive during the song, and we'll listen to the song and analyze the lyrics. And at the end, we'll go through and kind of explain how you could actually use this song if you found the song helpful.
Think music therapy. Right?
Yeah, literally it is music therapy. Yeah, that's a basic rundown. So I'm going to go ahead and get our stuff kind of situated here. Do you want to go through and kind of introduce the song?
Yeah,
and kind
sure.
of our 10th episode kind of like overview of what we're going to be talking about?
Yes, I also like to just mention my appreciation for being able to do this. So this is Holly, my daughter, and she is Holly Dayle. She is a published musician, and like you said, I'm a licensed mental health counselor. Worked as a counselor for, decades now.
Yep.
And so we are just putting together both of our professions and maybe examining how music could be quite a useful tool in helping people. And it's actually becoming a thing, music therapy.
Yeah, which is amazing. I
cool.
love that.
Yeah, I mean, it's an amazing instrument to minister to people. And so I thought that would be kind of fun for us to share our thoughts to the world in that respect.
Yeah.
And so this evening, do you want me to talk about the song we're going to do?
Yeah. Just kind of like a brief overview of the name of the song and like kind of the overall theme that we're going to be discussing.
I actually wonder how many folk. First of all, it's a very iconic song, "Cats in the Cradle," but it came out in 1974, so it's been a minute.
Yeah. What was the name of the artist again?
Oh well, Harry Chapin.
Harry Chapin. So the song is Harry Chapin, "Cats in the Cradle."
1974. Yeah. So
1974. I was not around.
No, it's been a minute. But so on the one hand, maybe everybody knows about it. On the other hand, maybe it's like, is that a song I have heard before?
Yeah, I don't know. It'd be kind of cool if it's a song that y'all have never heard before. Tell us in the comments. It'd be kind of cool to see.
Yeah.
How many of y'all are like my age or like his age, to put it friendly. Okay, let's go ahead and actually jump into the song here. Was there something that you wanted to say?
I would like to say, I'd be interested in your point of view relative to kind of the production of the song, given the era it was created in. It's pretty different than how it works today. I might be interesting to hear some of your thoughts there. But it is a really cool song. Maybe I'll say amazing song, and then if I could follow that by saying in a terrible song. Terrible, not in the song part, but just in the messages. And I guess as a listener, you hear what I'm saying, but it's. Or another way to say it's intense. It's like, wow, really?
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. And so the main focus here is just getting your priorities straight in life. And the song kind of helps you out with that, because you don't want to be living the song.
Ah, gotcha.
That's for sure.
Okay, yeah, let's go ahead and dive into this song then.
Cool.
And again, the name of the song that we're looking at today is "Cats in the Cradle" by
Harry Chapin.
I didn't have his name up. I couldn't remember his last name. Good. I thought it was like Chaplin for some reason. I don't know why. All right, let me go ahead and pull it up. So yeah, here's "Cats in the Cradle." Oh, it's muted. Probably should unmute that.
It's so quiet.
It's so quiet. Yeah. Okay. Here we go. Yeah, and as we go through, I will go ahead and pause and like I'll reread the lyrics after we go through like a verse or a chorus.
Sure.
That way, whenever we dive into like kind of our analysis or our thoughts about it, it'll just be a little clearer as to what exactly we just heard. You know what I mean? All right, let's go ahead and dive in now. Interesting way to start. That's really quiet. There we go.
A child arrived just the other day.
Let's turn up the
He
volume.
came to the world in the usual way, but there were planes to catch and bills to pay. He learned to walk while I was away, and he was talking for I knew it. And as he grew, he'd say, I'm gonna be like you, Dad. You know I'm gonna be like you.
Okay.
And the
Go
cats
ahead and pause it before we jump into the chorus there. Yeah, that's interesting. I can't recall the last time I heard a song that was kind of like written that way. But I liked it. It was different. There was an instrument I was hearing in the background, and I don't know why. My brain just kind of went here, but I don't know about you, but for me, it kind of reminds me of like old Hollywood films. You know, that's kind of like
maybe
the vibe.
Western.
Yeah, there's like an instrument in the background, and I can't place what it is, but I feel like they would play that instrument in like old Western, like what was that old Western that we used to watch? It was fun. It was fun.
Clint Eastwood.
Yeah. What was like spaghetti Western?
Yeah,
Is that
that's
what it was?
they're called.
Oh,
It's a
yeah.
type of Western. Yeah.
Oh, is that the type of song?
That's a type. Well, it's a type of
Oh.
Western. Yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
The good, the bad, the ugly, stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
Disco
But yeah,
Dollar.
that's kind of like the vibe I was
Way
getting.
back in the day.
Yeah, that was kind of the vibe I was getting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. I mean, that is the era.
Yeah. Okay, let's go ahead and jump into the verse here.
Mm-hmm.
Let me pull it up here. Okay. So verse 1. Verse 1 says, "A child arrived just the other day. In the usual way, but there were planes to catch and bills to pay. He learned to walk while I was away. He was talking before I knew it, and as he grew, he said, I'm going to be like you, Dad. I know I'm going to be like you."
So just remember, as a counselor, one of the themes that I often share with folks as we're just considering life and how they want to augment their life and move in a direction that is more satisfying to them, the most important thing in life turns out to be relationships.
Yeah,
that is really the bottom line. And they come in all shapes and sizes, but the bottom line is relationship. And so what's remarkable about this song is it's sort of emphasizing that in the context of a story. And the kid is cute, and the dad, and I don't mean this disrespectfully, but the dad is dumb. Like, he's given up some precious stuff.
Yeah. Okay, that's kind of cool. I was kind of getting that vibe too. I'm feeling already in the beginning of this song, there's like a hint of like regret. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like pretty much as you said. I think this first verse for me, just kind of knowing where the context of this song is going, I think these lines kind of bring to light the reality of missed moments due to kind of like life's demands, like you had briefly just said. I think the father's absence during like his child's early years, which is, I'm taking it's his early years at the moment, since he's like talking about learning to walk and that sort of thing. I think that is a reminder of how easy it is to become preoccupied with responsibilities. Especially as like, you know, a young person and like also a Christian. From my perspective, it that demand is so much put into my generation, if that makes sense. Like, you know, you have to go out and like you know, be able to make it and live and make money. And I feel like a lot of like the ideas of like family oriented stuff is kind of put to the wayside just a little bit.
It can be easily lost.
Yeah, and yeah, that's just kind of an interesting thought.
And before we, you know, move on to the next piece, I probably should just backtrack a little bit and say, I mean, very often there's something, you know, maybe a dude is in the military and he's called away, and so that becomes a sad thing. He's doing something quite noble for his country and giving up a lot at his house in his stories. So you know, that's a big deal. And that's one kind of story. Then another kind of story is just, you know, chasing maybe the corporate, you know, dream or something.
Right.
And you know, the Scrooge story of, you know, trying to make a bunch of money or something, and
right.
you know, just losing sight of the priority of family. And so that's the thing that's sad in the song.
Yeah, and also another little thing to add is like, I think that this also kind of reminds me of the importance of being present and involved, like just as involved in God. So that way he's always present and involved in our lives. There's not like an absence of that, if that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, right. I mean, you're you know, in a manner of speaking, it's showing what God is about in your own self as a parent. So
Right.
I mean, you might be showing a precedent that isn't true regarding God. If you're absent, you know, the kid may grow up and think God is absent. That's actually a good cogent point.
Yeah. I don't know. I was just thinking
That's
of that.
good. That's good. That's good.
While I was looking at the lyrics there.
Right.
But yeah, okay, so that was verse 1. So let's go ahead and jump into the chorus, which I think I accidentally played a little bit of, but that's okay. I'll back it up just a wee bit here. There we go. All right, so here's the chorus.
No one's gonna be like you. And the cat's in the cradle and the silver spoon. Little boy blue and the man on the moon.
It's interesting
When you're
to
coming
hear the
home,
quality
Daddy
is
don't
all
know
so
when,
different.
but
You know,
we'll
when
get
you come
together
from
then. You know we'll have a good time then.
There's that instrument again. Man, I wish I knew what that was. It's gonna bother me though. I don't know.
I'm gonna have to add ChatGPT.
Yeah. But yeah, what was I gonna say? It was about a lot of times, which is interesting. Right now, there is kind of what I've seen, kind of in my own music community, a push for kind of like that old timey sound, and it's so cool to kind of like go back and listen to songs like this, because it kind of like paints a picture for me of like what elements of that is like drawing people back to that music, if that makes sense. It feels like nostalgia.
No, yeah,
and
I'm just gonna say nostalgia.
Yeah. And so I think that's something interesting that I feel like some musicians, like kind of in my genre, are trying to kind of pull at. And
Super manual. I would think the whole production and mixing and
yeah, that's true.
Back at that time, and agonizing, painstaking event. Anyway.
Yeah, that is true. That is something that they probably didn't have. I don't know. I have not studied anything in that, but yeah, they probably did not have equipment to kind of like go back and like
edit too much.
Yeah, edit too much. Yeah, so that's an interesting thing to add. But yeah, okay, let's go ahead and actually jump into the chorus here. Yeah. So the chorus reads, "And the cat's in the cradle and the silver spoon, little blue boy and the man on the moon. When you coming home, Dad? I don't know when, but we'll get together then. You know we'll have a good time then." You know what's interesting? It is really sad, but like my brain went somewhere else for a minute. It's interesting that I think this is based off of like a rhyme book, right? Am I wrong? Like a
Mother Goose.
Yeah. That is what it's based off of.
Yeah.
I was thinking that. My brain was like some like recessed memory from like when I was like 2. Yeah. I was like, this sounds familiar. Cool.
And I mean, very classic. And again, no disrespect, but I mean, a lot of those Mother Goose rhymes are a little bit like terrifying. You know what I'm saying? Like, should I really read this out loud to my child?
Oh my gosh, that's true. Yeah. No, that's true. Oh man. Okay, so yeah, that was the chorus.
I mean, I guess just my reaction to the chorus. I mean, it's this genius balance between the innocence of a child captured in the lines from Mother Goose, and then kind of this, I guess I'll say it again, epic, iconic, I don't know, promise of a dad who's going to come home and play, and you know, just the enthusiasm of the kid to spend time with his dad is super cute, but the context is you know, because he's not coming home, so you know, you can just see. You know, at first there's an innocence, and I'll just wait longer, and then eventually it turns into something else. So,
oh man,
that's the chorus. I mean, the chorus really tries to communicate the point of the song: priorities, family.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, the chorus definitely does actually like depict this heartbreaking depiction of like broken promises and like missed opportunities, which he's already been talking about in like verse 1. You know, kind of hinting to as the song continues here.
Right.
I also think it's kind of cool he's telling a story too.
Yeah.
The song is like, it's not just like ideas and theories put together. It's actually like a tale as you're reading it. Kind of funny, you know, based off of like a rhyme book as well. You know, like a story.
Yeah,
I don't know,
that's
just connecting little things there. But I think also the chorus here, it kind of underscores kind of like the reality that time waits for nobody. You know what I mean? That's just something I'm picking up on. And, while it is true that we are called to kind of like honor our commitments and like cherish our family and relationships, I feel like the song so far is kind of challenging to kind of like prioritize family, like we talked about, and ensure that you don't repeat the mistakes of neglect. I think he's trying to bring to light the stuff
I think that's true. He's highlighting that.
Yeah, that you might in your brain at the time not think is an issue. Like, oh no, I have to go work. So, but he's trying to make that like, that's actually the issue here.
Is it worth it? Is it worth it?
Yeah, exactly. He's trying to bring to light like, hey, no, actually that's going to cause things down the road. You might not see that now because you're prioritizing things, but let's just paint a picture, a very like suburban home kind of vibe picture. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, I don't know, that's cool. I love that he's like writing a story here as we go on with the lyrics and everything. Yeah. So, okay, so that was the first verse and the chorus. Right. And now we're going to go ahead and jump into verse 2.
Verse 2.
Okay, let me back it up just a little bit so we don't miss it. Okay, here we go. I wish I knew what instrument that was. That's gonna bother me now.
My son turned 10 just the other day. He said, thanks for the ball, Dad. Come on, let's play. Can you teach me to throw? I said, not today. I got a lot to do. He said, that's okay. And he walked away, but his smile never dimmed. Said, I'm gonna be like him. Yeah, I'm gonna be like him.
Honestly, what I see of that, like that makes me the most sad is the kid's optimism.
Yeah.
And then also the kid being like, I'm gonna be like him. That's sad. And he's like, that's what like a real man is supposed to do, right? Like that's what he's like, and he's trying to be like, I'm gonna be like my dad, and that's just sad.
Yeah, like I said, it's an amazing song because I think that it communicates one of the most important points that I would ever have to say to a person and a family. Yeah. And I often do say it in a counseling context. And then on the other hand, it's a terrible song because you can just feel the weight of it. Yeah. The tragedy of it. So
also his voice is like almost like excited or uplifting a little bit. So it's like contrasting a little bit for me. And my brain's like, I don't know what to think.
It's quite, it's a story. He's telling a story.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, I didn't read the lyrics. Let me go ahead and do that so that way we can actually dive in a little bit better here.
Gotcha.
Okay, so the verse 2 reads, my son turned 10 just the other day. He said, thanks for the ball, Dad. Come on, let's play. Can you teach me to throw? I said, not today. I got a lot to do. He said, that's okay. And he walked away, but his smile never dimmed and said, I'm going to be like him. Yeah, I'm going to be like him.
Yeah. I mean, just the loyalty in this cute kid for his dad is so heartwarming. And I really do feel bad for the dad because, like you might have said a minute ago, it seems like he supposes that he's making the right decision. And this is not hard for a dude to get into a headspace. You make provision for your family and stuff. I mean, you feel super strong in your gut to do that, you know. And so I mean, I could see that, but unfortunately, I think it is at a cost that may be invisible at the moment, but becomes more and more plain as time and life goes on, all captured in this short little song.
Yeah, that's true. I think it also kind of reflects the contribution to the father's like unavailability. Like this verse is like really playing into that. And just like you said, like the son's innocence and acceptance and like continued admiration of his father despite the neglect is both like, like you said, like touching and tragic simultaneously. I think for me, it kind of serves as a reminder of like resilience and the forgiving nature of children. Like you can kind of see that here.
That's true.
And I think it calls us to be a little bit more attentive and present, especially when those kids are so young and like impressionable and that sort of thing. You have to be kind of mindful of that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, very impressionable.
Yeah,
it's kind of surprised what you're teaching.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and like the little things you wouldn't realize that maybe would carry on later. Yeah, that's true.
And sometimes not so little.
Yeah, that's true. It builds into other things. Yeah, actually, that's kind of an interesting point. I feel like that song is kind of showing that. It's the little tiny details that you would not think would be an issue, but later on down the line, as you'll see in the song, it becomes an issue for this father and son.
Right.
Yeah, I love that. That's a perspective he's trying to show in this story. So, bringing light to that, especially in this older song too. Is it true that back in the day, like, therapy and that sort of thing wasn't really pushed.
Yeah, that
like
wasn't it was nowhere near as
like back in 1974. That's when this was. Yeah, that's interesting. That's good that this song did that. Then that's kind of cool to see like little gems like this.
It probably did serve a pretty big purpose in the mind of folks. You know, I mean, what we're doing here is encouraging personal reflection and then showing how a song could actually be used in a therapeutic setting.
Yeah,
and so I mean, the message is powerful and it's age old. It'll never stop communicating a point.
That's true. That's awesome. I love that. Okay, let's go ahead and now jump into the bridge, I think. Yeah, the bridge. Let me go back it up just a little bit. Or the chorus again. Actually, we're back into the chorus again. Maybe we'll just go right into the bridge.
You could do that.
Cats in the cradle and the silver spoon, the little boy blue and the man on the moon. When you're coming home, Dad, I don't know when.
I love that background guitar.
We'll get together then. You know we'll have a good time then.
There it is.
I don't know what it is. That's gonna bother me. I don't know what it is for what it is.
Well, he came from college just the other day. So much like a man, I just had to say, son, I'm proud of you. Can you sit for a while? He shook his head and he said with a smile, what I'd really like, Dad, is to borrow the car keys. See you later, can I have them, please?
Oh man,
and the cats in the cradle and the
I think full circle, right?
That's full circle.
Oh, that's sad. It's sad that he says he said it with a smile. That's sad.
Yeah, I don't think he meant it though. I mean, he's just being cute.
No, I know, but there's still that sense of innocence is what I was picking up from the smile part. It's like, like I love you, Dad, but like he literally became like him, and now he's going out and doing that and doesn't see like there's an issue with it. You know, that's sad. Okay.
One of the things that we've done 10 episodes now where we've looked at 10 songs, with great examination, and what I'm just amazed with is the bridge always seems to have something really powerful and different to say.
That is true. That is something I've noticed too.
It's an interesting kind of use of a component in the song that maybe just as a novice in the music world, I just never was struck by it. But really examining these songs with a granular effort, the bridge really it's always powerful.
That's true. That is something I noticed while studying as well, different songs. It's what do they call it? I forget the musical term that they use, but it's a way to kind of like recapture the audience essentially.
Okay.
And almost make like the final chorus or the final verse, whatever you're going to put after the bridge, like really profound and almost stand out. But it's like a refresher for the audience a little bit, is how I studied like music and what was said to me while studying.
Okay.
But yeah, and they always try to make it, it's like typically what it'll do too is it'll be different chords and that sort of thing. So that's just something else interesting to add. But before we get too deep into the analysis, let me go ahead and read it because I skip over it because I get like into like the emotions.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's okay. But yeah, okay, here is the bridge and I'll read that for us. So it says, well, he came home from college just the other day. So much like a man, I had to say, son, I'm proud of you. Can you sit for a while? He shook his head and said with a smile, what I'd really like, Dad, is to borrow the keys. See you later. Can I have them, please? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's sad.
That's sad.
Oh, man. I think also with this bridge, like I said earlier, I think the roles actually have reversed now. Now that he's grown, he's too busy like for his dad and doing the things that he wanted to do when he was little. Now he's like emulating like the things that his dad did.
And what he's doing is copying in a undoubtedly subconscious way the priority demonstrated to him by his dad in his own sort of way of thinking. And again, I mean, having worked as a counselor for decades, I have had the pleasure of working with plenty of dudes that were coming home for college in the summer, today being no exception, and these are just handsome dudes, and so they really are coming into themselves, and the priority of yesteryear is where that becomes apparent. And so I mean, with no intentional malice or anything, you see it happening right here.
Yeah, that's true. And I think this is kind of like playing into now you're getting to see the consequences of the little details that we talked about earlier. And I think to the audience he's trying to push the idea of invest your time into loved ones and relationships. Like don't lose sight of that, because like I said earlier, time is not something that you can just have again. You know, it when time,
once it is spent,
it is gone.
It is
exactly.
gone.
Yeah. And he's trying to like bring those circumstances to light, so that way he's trying to help his audience avoid the pain in the future by painting that exact picture of what would happen if you did these things. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
So I really love that, especially for a song like that in its era would have maybe been seen a little bit differently. You know what I'm talking about, with like the mindset of like that generation and stuff. So, but yeah, I love that. That's awesome.
This would have been one of the chief sources of insight.
Yeah.
You know?
That's true. Okay, so that was the bridge. And I think now we're going to jump into the final chorus. It seems to be pretty long.
It's pretty long, yeah. It's kind of a verse chorus match or something.
Gotcha. I probably won't play the whole
thing
just because it's a minute and 48 seconds. That's a long time.
Yeah, but maybe the verse part, and we can just...
Yeah. If we have time, we can jump back into it.
Sure,
but
yeah, sure.
Just go ahead and play. So this is the final chorus.
Son, I don't know when, but we'll get together then, Dad. You know we'll have a good time then.
Yeah, I'm feeling the era.
Yeah, it's changing.
I've long since retired, my son's moved away. I called him up just the other day. I said I'd like to see you if you don't mind. He said I'd love to, Dad, if I can find the time. You see, my new job's a hassle and the kids are the flu, but it's sure nice talking to you, Dad. It's been sure nice talking to you.
Yeah.
And as I hung up the
Oh man, that's so sad. Full circle.
Full circle right there,
Yeah.
That's it. I mean, that is the moment where the dad is asking to come out and play ball, so to speak.
Yeah, exactly.
And the adult son now is, you know, with, we'll call it reasonable explanation, just not available.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Before we jump into it, let me go ahead and read it.
Yeah,
I keep missing that.
Yeah,
I keep just wanting to jump into it.
I keep going into it, sorry.
No, it's okay. Okay, so here's the final chorus here. So it reads, I've long since retired. My son's moved away. I called him up just the other day. I said, I'd like to see you if you don't mind. He said, I'd love to, Dad, if I could find the time. You see, my new job's a hassle and the kids have the flu, but it's sure nice talking to you, Dad.
Yeah, and that's where we stopped. Yeah, there's one more little piece, but that's where we stopped. Isn't that something?
Yeah,
that's
something.
Dad's old sentiment right there.
Yeah.
Really, and he's nice about it.
Yeah, that's true.
Know?
It's like in the song here, he's like reminiscing of it a little bit. It sounds like when he's like speaking it. And another thing too is his tone in the song changed as well. His tone sounds reminiscent or sad or somber compared to the beginning of the song, which was a little bit more like focused and forward.
Conquer the world.
Right. Yeah, and that's interesting that he did that with his vocals too. I don't know if he did that intentionally. Maybe he did.
Probably just feeling the emotion.
Yeah, and I think that plays into exactly what's going on here as well.
Yeah, there's one more part. I don't know if you want to play it too.
Okay, let me go ahead and jump into that part.
Might have to back it up a teeny.
Just a little tiny bit. Okay.
As I hung up the phone, it occurred to me he'd grown up just like me. My boy was just like me. And the cat's in the cradle and the silver spoon, little boy blue and the man on the moon. When you're coming home, son, I don't know when, but we'll get together then, Dad. We're gonna have a good time.
Yeah, that was it anyway. So, yeah, that last line was super sad. What did it say? It said, as I hung up the phone, it occurred to me he'd grown up just like me. My boy was just like me.
Yeah.
That's exactly what he was saying in the beginning of the song, the kid.
Yeah.
Oh, that's sad.
I think that is really the thesis of the song captured right there in those few lines.
That's true. Yeah. I do think that sums up the point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Was there anything else you want to say about it?
I mean, just back to it is a remarkable song and kind of a terrible song. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, I think it has tremendous value, so I don't want to say anything bad about it. It's just
no, it's painting a picture that he doesn't want his audience to go through.
It pulls at your emotions, you know, and so I think you just have to kind of, I don't know, be in the right mood to kind of bring that in. But
That's
a
true.
great value, because it's gonna it's gonna bring you into a headspace where maybe you need to be
Yeah.
in order to not suffer.
Yeah, I really feel like this final section of the song here, the final chorus,
Yeah.
I feel like it really does bring this kind of like sorrowful conclusion to the narrative that illustrates, like we had said, the full circle of neglect. The father's realization that his son has grown up just like him, like as he was saying in the song, is like a reminder of the impact of our actions that we have on the next generation. Like we were saying earlier in the beginning of the song, you see the kid and you see like he's wanting to play with his dad. It's the little tiny things like, oh no, I don't have time for that, this, that, and the other thing. And it's just important to be like, mindful of that and aware of that with your own kids and everything, and be like, okay, let me actually set this aside for them, because, essentially, I guess everything that you're doing and working is essentially for them and for their future. You know what I mean? As a family. And I think also another point here is like, I feel like this song is calling to kind of like break those cycles and build relationships. I think that was kind of like the emphasis. And to also be rooted in and present and like follow the example of unwavering commitment that we see kind of like God do in the Bible. Like no matter what, God always kept his promises and that sort of thing to his people. It was unwavering, even if he didn't feel like it. And there were times that I probably wouldn't have felt like that if I were in his shoes. So, just a little thing to add.
I maybe it's a silly example, or not so silly. I mean, maybe a dude takes his son hunting or something, and I always love the idea that he is in the stand, but not hunting himself, right? He's there with his son, and so he's supporting the cause of his son having this experience,
right?
And so that allowed him to just pour into his kid. I think that's just if hunting is a thing in a certain family, that's just a great way to maybe bond and connect to your kid. And
that's true.
Yeah.
All right.
That's sort of a contrasting picture, I think.
I do think that. But yeah, so okay, that was pretty much that was the whole song of Cats in the Cradle. And now that we went through and did that kind of like deep overall analysis where we went through and like looked at every verse and everything, now we get into the part of the podcast where I ask two questions, which is, what is kind of the overall view of the song? Like, what is the message that this song is trying to convey to its audience? And then now that we know the message, now that we know that part for the first question, the second question is, what can we do with that information to help ourselves in the idea of like music therapy? How do we now use this information?
That's great.
So.
And I guess that's my cue.
That is you. That is
my
you.
cue.
That's the counselor's turn.
All
Go
right.
ahead.
So maybe just a few examples of who might best benefit from this song. And I mean, this is just an example. This is not an exhaustive list. 3 different maybe areas in life. One, if you're facing the heavy weight of regret, this song could be useful in working through that regret. So I could see value in that story.
Okay.
Also, in the case of like parents or raising children, just maybe the first 18, 20 years of life, when you're raising your kids. Right. I think this song speaks to that era very strongly, and so it can help kind of organize your priorities and your thinking. So I think the song is useful there. And then, beyond that, just really trying to kind of shape identity and what you want to import into the next generation. If you're thinking that far ahead, I think the song has value there. So, I mean, for sure, there's other instances where the song would be tremendously helpful, therapeutically speaking, but those are just a few ideas.
Yeah, those are good.
Yeah. And as far as
the second question.
Yeah, the second question.
Yeah.
Okay, so in a concrete fashion, how can this song help? And in order to answer that question, it requires maybe just an acknowledgement of what music therapy is in very, very brief terms. Music therapy aims to take music, which is super powerful. It in the course of the music, it really sets a mood, and the lyrics, of course, is communicating a message.
Right.
And you want to ask the music or the song to kind of bring a point home, like deep down into your soul, which it can do, which is often not possible just by talking about it.
Right.
You know, I mean, music, it has this extra layer of power that it brings, and can really be penetrating and helpful.
Yeah,
and so that's how a song might be useful, therapeutically speaking. And so, okay, on to the question. So, like, how can I use it? How can I use it? Well, so like personal journaling, you listen to the song, just kind of brainstorm, you know, like what comes to my mind in my own story. Personalize what you're writing. You know, what have I ever experienced this sense of neglect in my own family of origin? You know, what are scenes that would communicate that to me? You know, how do I hear myself in this song as a kid? And then maybe more horrifyingly, as an adult or parent, have I done that? Right? Have I actually been the one neglecting my kid? You know, you need to write that stuff down, you know, and where possible, make amends. You know, go and talk to these people that you love, and kind of clear the air and make it right. You know, and so I think the song can really help emphasize the importance of that, and just the value in actually making things right. So that's one. And then another whole thing would be, you know, for families that are emphasizing faith, which, you know, I think is good. It's important to realize that as a parent, you're often communicating to your kid something about the person of God, whether you mean to or not. You know, kids learn about God in general terms by just having exposure to their parents. And so, you know, for better and for worse. So one use of this song in like a Christian therapy kind of setting is to think about, okay, you know, am I saying what I mean to say about being a parent and about, you know, trusting God, and again, this is about personal reflection, and assuming, you know, your kids are old enough and there's relationships, you know, kind of make it right. Things that you think, you know, I didn't do right, you go talk about it. Okay, the final thing. So that's number 3. Here's number 3. It would be, you know, craft a vision of how you want your life or your family to look. Goals.
Oh, goal setting.
You know, goal setting, exactly.
Gotcha.
And what can I do to make my family a priority? You know, what would be a routine that I can build into my story that evidences the priority of my family.
That's good.
And that's 3 distinct ways. Those are different. That I might use the song in a therapeutic setting to be helpful.
That's good. Yeah. So brief overview. What I heard, what I got from that was, so people who are kind of facing some sort of regret in their story, maybe people who are like struggling with priorities, or even just like parents and guardians, you know, what to look out for.
And a good way to parent, you know, how do I parent better? You know,
and
what
then
not to do. The song says what not to do.
Exactly. The song is don't do this. But yeah, so those are kind of like the 3 things I was taking from what you were saying as the people who would kind of best benefit. We're on the same wavelength here. Okay, so and then the therapeutic kind of like applications. Journal, like reflective journaling.
Yes.
I think kind of like
setting goals.
Goal setting was one of them. And then like exercises, practicing like not being absent or letting things just kind of slide. Like go and actually address the things that maybe you said that you like regret saying to them. So that's kind of what I picked up on.
That's good. Well, hopefully that's good. That's what I meant to.
Basic
good.
Overview of what we just said. But yeah, and that was our kind of like overall review, or not review, I guess analysis, interpretation of Cats in the Cradle by
Harry Chapin.
Okay. I keep forgetting his name. But yeah, that was a great song to kind of do our 10th episode on. I was really feeling like maybe we should kind of do like some older songs, because I think as we were going, we did kind of newer songs and just kind of just subconsciously start doing like older and older songs. So it made sense to kind of like wrap it up with like an older song. But Yeah, I absolutely love that. That was a good song. I don't know if anybody recommended that song. Was that something that we got through recommendations?
I don't know.
I can't
Maybe.
remember.
Yeah, I don't know.
But yeah, if that is something that y'all want to hear, like a song or something that you want us to look at, go ahead and just send us like through the DMs or whatever, and we will go through and actually look at those songs and put together like a little podcast where we do what we just did today. So yeah, I absolutely love that. That was a good song to kind of end our 10th episode on. And so now that we've done that, so the plan that we're going to do is we're now going to go ahead and put together a playlist of all the songs that we've looked at for these 10 episodes. And we're going to put them together for you guys. And they're going to be called...
Discovery and Recovery.
Okay, the Discovery and Recovery playlist. And I will link those for you guys. So that way you guys can go through and actually listen to the songs that we've talked about. Kind of go through and do, as we said, like the journaling, if that's something that y'all would find helpful with these songs. And they'll be kind of like in order as we looked at them. And once you guys go through that, if something else you're interested in, like a like worksheet that we have.
That's right.
Y'all could reach out to us and we can give that to you as well, if that's something that you're interested in. But yeah, that was our 10th episode, and I think that was a great song to end on. We're going to start kind of our next series, which will probably be in the same kind of arena of thought process as we go as we go forward. We will see. But yeah, that was pretty much it.
Great.
For this, and we will let y'all know when we will be doing the next podcast. It will probably be next Wednesday at 8 p.m. EST, which is what we're going to be doing from here on out every Wednesday. So yeah, I look forward to doing that. I hope you guys look forward to it as well. And yeah, if there are any songs that y'all want us to look at, let us know, and we will go through and actually put together a podcast for you guys, because we would absolutely love to do that. But yeah, that was pretty much it for this episode. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I hope y'all have a wonderful rest of your Wednesday, and we will see y'all again super soon. Okay, bye.
Bye now.
Child arrived just the other day. He came to the world in the usual way, but there were planes to catch and bills to pay. He learned to walk while I was away, and he was talking for I knew it. And as he grew, he'd say, I'm gonna be like you, Dad. You know I'm gonna be like you.